Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. My first ever bowfin. Wow. I've never caught a bowfin before. That's awesome. He is not happy that he's getting the lip clamp. Look how he bit that. First when he hit, I thought he was a catfish. There we go. You're not going anywhere, homie. He's a fatty. And he's pooping. Let's see how much this guy weighs. He's hefty. 5 pounds, 6 ounces. So 5.5 pound bowfin. That's not too shabby. This is not what I was expecting to see today, but I'll take it. Let's let this guy go. I'm sure he's gonna kick off and splash like crazy. There he goes. That was cool. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bash and Bass TV. I'm Justin. It's been a while since I've been able to post a video. We've had crazy weather here in Texas. I lost power in my house for about 36 hours or so, and then it was on and off again for another 24, and I finally got constant power back on, so I'm able to edit this video, post it, and get something out to you guys. It's been a weird couple of weeks. Fishing has been just terrible. I think I've caught 3 fish total, including that bowfin that you guys just watched me catch. It was the first ever bowfin of my life. It was pretty good size, I think. I don't know, I could be wrong. That could be a baby. If you guys know bowfin and you catch bowfin, tell me what some of your biggest ones are. There was a lot of fun, really cool to catch. Really glad that I had my lip grabber thing, because I was not wanting to hold that in my hands. It was slimy and I didn't want to deal with it. Anyways, in this video, I decided to give you guys an insight into my office, my tackle room, all the gear that I have, kind of show you what I use and how I like to catch fish, the lures that I have just in abundance of, and just kind of show you what works for me and what doesn't work for me. And if you guys watch this and you go, how does that lure not work for you? Tell me, teach me, because I would love to learn. I want to learn more, but hopefully that this also teaches you guys something as well, and you enjoy seeing different options or what works for, you know, certain anglers, especially here in Texas. I mean, if you're a Texas angler, this stuff hopefully works well for you as well. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below as well. So without any more delay, let's take a look at my tackle room basically. All right, so here's my corner that I store all my fishing gear in my office and all the bins and everything on the shelves. I'm gonna go through all the stuff kind of one by one with you. I'm not going to go through every single item that are in the bins, but just kind of give you a rough idea of what I got. Got some hard baits and some plastics, and we're going to go through all the tackle boxes in detail, at least. The soft plastics, I think you guys know I'm a Googan Baits fan. Not a lot of you guys are, but this whole bin is full of Googan Baits. I've got Rage Tails. Strike King Rage products are fantastic. Below, I have a whole bunch of big bite baits. Those are the trick sticks. Those are my favorite type of Senko type baits. Right here, I have a bin full of missile baits and then some power, what are these? The Berkeley power baits and stuff like that. Missile baits were on a massive sale in my Field and Stream in Dix near my house because they ordered too many, so they were selling for like $1 a piece. In here is just like random odds and ends. I got my cleaning kits and stuff and my lubes and my greases and stuff for my reels. So here is all my Z-Man products, like my Ned Rig stuff. I love them. We'll go through a couple of these bins. Right here are my Yum Dingers and my actual Senkos. In here is like my miscellaneous stuff. You can see I got Kitech, but I got a lot of paddle tails. There's a lot of baits in here that I bought that I was like, all right, I'm gonna try these out, and they weren't successful for me, so I just didn't use them. And here is a bin full of all of my extra stuff that we're going to go through as well that are hard baits that haven't been opened, that are backups, whatever. You can see that I got a whopper plopper in there, and we'll go through that in detail as well. All right, and here's all my bait casters that I use on a consistent basis, and I'll go through these in detail. Right here is my tackle bag that I have all my stuff in. This is what I carry on a consistent basis with me. I will go through all of this as well in detail. So basically, I'm going to go through these boxes up here in detail, what I like, the hard stuff that I like to use. Most of this stuff down here is trailers or worms. You guys know what they look like. And then I'll go through the bin right down here that shows all of the extra stuff that I have as well in much more detail. All right, first up, what we're going to do is look at my Shimano SLX DC. This is an 8.1 or 8.2 to 1 gear ratio. I mainly throw jigs and Texas rigs and stuff like that on this. I paired it up with the Mach 1 speed stick, medium heavy 7-foot rod. I believe it's 7'2" rod. The reason why I did that, honestly, is because it was on sale. It was on clearance, and it needed an eyelet repaired, and I was able to do that pretty cheap. So that's why I paired it with this. The rod really hasn't let me down at all. I really like it. Every single bait caster that I have Suffix 832 30-pound braid, the forest green color. It's my favorite, and a lot of guys will say, you know, change it up, use fluorocarbon, use mono. I don't want to spend money all the time on line, so I just pair it with the braid that I like because I use frogs and I like doing that kind of stuff, and I know that it's not going to break on me as easily as fluorocarbon or monofilament, so that's why I use that only. Okay, next up, we have my Abu Garcia Black Max reel. This was a beginner reel for me. It's a very good, sturdy, reliable reel. Doesn't cast the farthest, but it does the job. 6.4 to 1 gear ratio. Paired it with the Escalade HD medium heavy 7-foot rod. Love this rod. Once I retire this reel, I'm going to put obviously a different reel on this one because it's going to stay with me as long as it doesn't break. This reel specifically, I love using crankbaits and spinnerbaits. This one is the Guggen Baits spinnerbait with a chartreuse grub as my trailer. I love using these single tail grubs as trailers on these spinnerbaits now. They work really well for me, and they've gotten a lot more bites. I've actually been more successful using grubs as my trailer now. So there's that one. Last and certainly best for me is the Lew's Mach Crush. I just bought this. I am in love with this combo. First of all, the color scheme is amazing because, you know, it's my colors. This thing, I believe, is a 7.4 to 1 gear ratio. I could be wrong, but I think that's what this is. 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. So there you go, corrected. I love throwing my chatterbaits with this thing, and you guys know I love my chatterbaits. This is the farthest casting, hands down best reel that I've used, even better to me than the SLX, the Shimano. I love this setup. I'm going to be buying another one as soon as I get my next bonus, I think, to have I want to compliment this, basically. Love it. Can't say anything negative about this reel and this rod. Perfection. All right, here's my tackle bag. First up, I always, especially being in Houston, always have bug spray with me. Always got to have it. This thing's seen some stuff. This backpack's pretty beat up. So first, let's just dive into what soft plastics I carry. So I got my grubs for my trailers for my spinnerbaits. Oop, this one's opened up on me. So this is what I use on that spinnerbait that you just saw, the Zoom chartreuse grub. I've heard a lot about these kamikazes for trailers for chatterbaits now as well. I'm going to start using these some more. You got to have a finesse worm, and I love throwing blacks. I love throwing natural colors. So this is being used right now in wintertime when the water's muddy in the ponds that I'm fishing. So these have been getting hit up pretty well. Another finesse bait. And you guys know I have plenty of the Guggen stuff in here. Here's my Rage Tail. I love using Rage Tail stuff too. They're probably a very close second to the Guggen Bait stuff. Baby brush hogs. They've been working really well for me as well. And that's actually all I have right now. So basically what you're noticing is everything's black and blue except for some chartreuse and some red. And that's just because the weather conditions and the water clarity has been really bad. So this has been what's been getting hit lately. In about a month here in Texas, it'll start warming up a lot more, and I'll be using more natural colors as well. The pumpkins, the watermelon red flakes, and all that stuff. Alright, so here's the tackle box. But before I do that, let me show you guys necessities. This Rapala or Rapala, I forgot how you say it. This thing is a must-have for when you're fishing for using, catching big fish, catfish especially, that bowfin gar you can't do it with, but these are a lifesaver and a thumb saver. You gotta have your scale. Mine kind of got melted because I put some of the Z-Man stuff in there with it, and it got melted a little bit, but it still works. Didn't mess with the electronics. I got my pair of scissors for my braid cutting the line, and mandatory. When you guys buy a tackle box and you first get into fishing, this should be the first item you have. You don't have to get one of these kind, but you have to have needle nose pliers. They are a must-have in your tackle box. I don't care what else you guys buy. I don't care if you have a scale, but you got to have this, because if a fish swallows that hook, you're going to need these to help you get it out. All right, let's dive into it. All right, before the winter storms hit, I was actually considering throwing some whopper ploppers, seeing some surface bites. The bone and the loon colors are some of my favorite, basically the black and white and the yellow, but also monkey butt. But with the water clarity the way it has been, these would get more attraction and more hits. I also got a Spro popping frog and a popping perch. These things are the absolute best popping frogs that you're going to find on the market. These get hit harder and more than any other frog I've ever used. Now you guys know my affinity for chatterbaits. So I have 4 in the box plus the one on my reel. And they're all natural colors. I've got, basically shad with green pumpkin here on 2 of these, black and blue, and then just a regular green pumpkin with a watermelon red flake trailer. I do not go anywhere without these. I always have a chatterbait tied onto a rod. I don't care what else I have out there. I will always, always, always have a chatterbait. Okay, next up, they stuck together, is my crankbaits. I love the Strike King KVD shallow divers. They have these rounded edges or these rounded bills right here. Let me turn it like this. These things only go down about a foot or 2, they say, but I think it goes down about like 3 to 4 feet. In the ponds that I use, especially with bank fishing, and if you guys are going to be doing bank fishing, this is pretty much your best option. I've tried other ones that are shallow diving. They've said it's only 3 to 5 feet. It's not true. They go deeper than that I've noticed. Right now I have this, I think it's like a summer shad. All right, and this is the end all be all right here of colors for crankbaits for me. Sexy shad. I don't care what other colors they have. For me, this is the best ever color. If I see sexy shad anything, it'll probably be one of the first things that I buy. And it's caught me so many fish. I can't tell you how many of these I've gone through that snagged or lost, or if a fish broke off or it just got damaged to the point where I had to replace it. The hooks on these lures are amazing. This is hands down the best crankbaits. I got a little spot here for jigs. I got some lipless cranks that I don't have much luck with. I'm not a big fan, but I do have the actual original rattle trap, and then I got some other stuff that I bought from like 6 cents and whatnot. I got my bullet weights, offset hooks, EWG hooks. I got my Ned rig stuff. I got wacky rig stuff. So that's basically the tackle box here. Now I'm going to go over some of the stuff that's on the shelf that I have with you guys, and you can see what I like throwing and what I don't like throwing. First up, I got the left side of my shelf. I got some jointed swim baits here from friends for Christmas and some frogs. So I haven't been able to use these yet. I had a 3-pounder hooked on one of these guys and it came off. I got a lot of practice that I need to do with these jointed swim baits still. I'm not really great with them, but I'm working on it. And the top one here, see, I haven't looked at these in forever, so you gotta bear with me. All right. So, I got some frogs. Again, poppin' frogs are great. The regular pad crashers, I love them too. The white one works wonders. Got some jigs, but the one that I've never had luck with is the prop frog. I've heard so many things about them. I'm not a big fan. I had a few on, but it never ever really landed a fish with this. Never once. Got a jitterbug here. I bought this because it was on clearance. It was okay. Again, you got jigs with rattles. So that's this box. It's okay. The frogs that I have in the other bin are way better. All right. Whew, got a rusty hook. I gotta place these hooks. So I've got some lures in here that I've bought, some that I found, some that work, some that don't. Got more of my shallow divers here. I got a Guggen Baits mini one here, and that's caught me some fish. But I'm thinking I'm gonna stick with my Strike King crankbaits. I got one here that goes down about 5 to 7 feet, I believe. Got my spook, which I've never caught a fish with. So if you guys have any tips about spook fishing, throw them my way. Crankbait that I actually found on the bank. If I see them on sale, I buy them. I kind of have a problem with buying fishing lures. And of course, whopper ploppers. Okay, now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of all my stuff that I have. First up, we're going to look at my box of crankbaits. This is majority of where I have my crankbaits at. I found a lot of stuff in here. I've bought a lot of stuff. What works, what doesn't. These Scamp by 13 baits, I believe they're called. These work really well. I love these. Not as much as I like the KVD Strike King ones, but if I needed to switch it up with some different kind of colors, these guys always have very unique colors that work really well. And these also have a rattle, whereas the Strike King ones that I use do not. Got my reds, which I'm not a big fan of the reds just because they don't work for me in my area. I'm sure they do in others, but just not mine. My Realis crankbait that I got from a buddy of mine over at tackleextreme.com. He was awesome. Check them out. Got some jointed swim baits. What the heck is this thing? This is a lure that I found while I was fishing. Actually, I remember I had that on video. So lipless here, which again, I'm not a big fan of. I got chartreuse. This bin gets a lot of action in the summertime, especially with chartreuse. This 13 baits with the Scamp. These are my backups. I have everything that I need. I also got bluegill colors. Those work really, really well. All right, next up, this is the mother load. If you're a chatterbait fan, this bin is for you. So I've got my poppin' perches. I got some frogs in here. I've got some of these bucktail chatterbaits, which I really didn't have any luck with. More poppin' frogs, but the rest of this is majority chatterbaits or jigs. So here are my natural color jigs that I have here. And now here's where we're getting into the chatterbaits. All of these right here are chatterbaits. Black and blue, natural colors, got white chartreuse. I mean, I think I have a problem with buying chatterbaits because this is how much I have. And I just see a color that I like and I go out and buy it. So I have a ton of replacements for what I use and break. I will always go after the jackhammers. They're my absolute favorites. I also got the Booyah version. Never had luck with those compared to regular chatterbaits. They were okay. But yeah, I go for the elites or I go for the jackhammer chatterbaits now. They just seem to work a lot better in my opinion. And you'll never go wrong with a good chatterbait. All right, next up, got whopper ploppers, got swim baits. Again, some more deep diving crankbaits when I go to actual lakes. Jerkbait. I've never had a luck with jerkbaits. I've caught a few. I got this whopper plopper 75. Didn't catch anything on that. It made a different sound. It was okay. Again, spook. Never caught anything. The 90s. With using my bait casters, they don't work as well anymore. So I'm not really a big fan of them. I go for the 110s. I believe it is. And they work much better for me, I think. Again, another jointed swim bait. This one's actually caught me the most fish out of all the jointed swim baits that I've ever used. But this is my, oh, I got poppers here too, I forgot about that. But this is another bin that I definitely go after and hit up when it gets to be, you know, late spring, summer, and all that stuff. But for right now, it stays put and doesn't really get much use because top water during the wintertime is mediocre at best. Okay, we got my last 3 bins here. So first, I'm actually going to look through this one with you guys. This is just my open stuff that I've already got. Spinner baits, buzz baits, and 1 whopper plopper. So if I have anything that doesn't really fit in a traditional tackle box, I just throw it in here. The whopper plopper, I got lazy and didn't put it in the actual bin because I just didn't feel like it at the moment. But this is where these go. And again, I'm learning to love the spinner baits. I want to use buzz baits some more. So if you guys have any recommendations on what to do with buzz baits more in the future, leave me a comment. I want to know about it. Now, here's all my unopened extra stuff that I got. So I bought, well, this was open actually, but so let me pull this out of the way. So I got this Storm Arashi, or I think that's how you say it, Arashi glide bait. Tried using it. It's really heavy, really big. Didn't catch anything on it yet, but again, fishing's been really, really, really rough lately. Some more storm baits that I'm going to try during the spawn and put these out on there and just kind of see if the bass will crush them. I think they will. I told you guys, I love my jackhammers. So I went out and bought a bunch of extra colors. So I got some, let's see, we got shad, white, green, bruised green pumpkin. So it's basically blue and green pumpkin. And then my absolute favorite color, green pumpkin shad. I love the half-ounce chatterbaits way more than 3/8 or 1/4 ounce. These are my go-to weights. Love these. However, I have discovered now that the Guggen baits, they're called clickbaits. Their version of the chatterbait work extremely well, half the price. So if you guys are not opposed to buying Guggen baits, which for some reason people are, I don't know why, they work amazingly well for me. These are a good substitute for a jackhammer. They work extremely well. Got extra jigs. Got my extra whopper ploppers. Again, you know how I love throwing these in the summertime. I catch a ton of big fish on them. These are the most fun lures in the summer, hands down. Got another deep diving crankbait, another Strike King. Got a new spinnerbait from the Guggen Squad guys. I'm going to try that out soon. Another jig and a little mini popper. So those are the baits that I have just kind of unopened, but they're sitting as backups. So when I do lose one, I can have a replacement. So there you have it. I have an abundance of chatterbaits. I think you guys were expecting that. Tons of Guggen baits, trailers and Texas rigs. Those are my go-to with them. A bunch of soft plastics, tons and tons of crankbaits because I love throwing a good crankbait. And there was some stuff that didn't work for me. You know, that egg bait from Bass Pro Shops that also had really crappy hooks. Spooks, I still can't catch them on them. Spinner baits, I'm starting to come around on them a little bit more. I'm catching more fish with them, but they're not my absolute favorite. But I'm giving them a fair shake and I'm doing my best with them. I also learned that using grubs for trailers is a good thing on them. What else we got? Buzz baits. I don't have much luck. I think I've caught 1 or 2 fish ever on a buzz bait. So I need to practice with them some more this year. And maybe that's something I should focus this year on, is learning how to use baits that I'm not a big fan of now and get better with them as a fisherman. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Leave some comments below what lures and what kind of stuff that you like throwing that I don't have here that I should look into. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at BashingBassTV. Bash the subscribe button below, and until next time, just keep bashing.